Happy New Year, and welcome back to my ArundelBiz Podcast. I'm Grayson Orfe.
And I'm Allison Akers. We are your hosts from Arundel Economic Development. Today we are in Glen Burnie here with Ezequiel Cembalo. He is the CEO and owner of Ink Generation. Ezequiel, give us a little bit of background on you and tell us a bit about Ink Generation.
Well, my name is Ezequiel Cembalo. I'm owner and CEO of Ink Generation. We are a company that do a lot of screen printing in the area and embroidery.
Cool.
Now, let's take a look at your business journey. Now, I understand that you started back in 2012 in your basement.
Mm-hmm,
Can you give us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, so back in 2011, I was playing soccer on a co-ed league. Mm-hmm. I got injured, so they put me to start being the manager of the team, getting sponsors, getting the uniform square. Mm-hmm. So I contacted many companies of screen printing in the area, and I didn't have no good experience once forever. So the quality was terrible. We was playing a couple games, and the numbers fall out and things like that. So by curiosity, I went to YouTube and started watching do-it-yourself video screen printing. And I got so hooked up that I decided to go into New York for a week and take a whole week class. After that, it changed my life. I mean, I love so much the industry after that 10 days after the last day of the class, I renovated my entire basement from man cave to a screen print shop.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how it started.
Now, what made you want to start? Like, what made you want to get into it? Was it your creative process? Have you always been creative?
Yes, the creative process, the craftsman process, you know what I mean? Screen printing is not magic like many people think it is. You know what I mean? It's a lot involved. It's a lot of labor. It's a lot of thinking. Every single job is different. You know, even if you print ink on a piece of material, every job requires different angles, different off contact, all kind of different technical things that it makes the job unique. You know, so we never, even if we print the same thing or pretty much use the same technique every day, every job requires different method, and that's why they love it. You know what I mean? The employees, they love to do it because every time is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So it started kind of as a hobby, just you in your basement.
Yes.
How have you grown since then? What are some key moments in your history?
Well, I mean, I worked 2 years in the basement just to master myself on the industry, on the craftsman of the industry. And after that, back in 2014, I went to a trade show for screen printing, and I started watching all these beautiful industrial machines. And again, I buy the machines. I came back and only had 10 days after I came back to find a warehouse, renovate the warehouse to install the machines. Oh, okay. And that was everything started. In 2014, I installed all the machines. I hired my first employee, Chelsea. She's the production manager right now.
So she's grown with you as well.
She's been growing with me. I mean, she pretty much grew the company more than me because, I mean, she's the soul of the company. Along with her team, they are the soul of the company.
So you went from basement to, you mentioned a warehouse. How many warehouses have you been in?
1,500 square feet in 2014, 4,000 on 15, on 18, 6,500 square.
And you've always been in Anne Arundel County?
Yes.
You just moved around Anne Arundel?
Yes.
Awesome. Why do you like it here?
I don't know, close to home, and I love the people, you know?
That's important. Yeah. Anne Arundel is home for a lot of people.
Yep,
and
it is.
They love living here.
It is.
That's cool. That's a really good small business story that you're growing up in your community and you're building your business throughout different sizes.
Yeah, it is a blast.
Now, you have a unique slogan. Can you tell us what it is?
Well, I mean, the slogan pretty much say, we print t-shirts, but how we print it what makes us different. And that is because the passion that we put on it and how we train ourselves to do it. You know, every year I took my team, normally on March, I took them to Atlantic City for a trade show. And normally we see new techniques, we see new machines, and that's how we train ourselves all the time. You know what I mean? And Chelsea is always precaution to trying to learn through photos and through people that she contact to learn new techniques and things like that. So for us, it's not just a job. You know what I mean? We put a lot of passion and a lot of thought process on everything we do in the shop. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I know that they love the most. They have so much pride for every single job that they do over there. They want it to be perfect, or they are not getting out of the door. So that's why I consider ourselves different to others. You know?
Now, like you were saying before, you said that screen printing isn't magic. So there's a lot of technicals, there's a lot of things that go
Yes.
behind it.
Exactly.
Can you give us a little bit of detail on how the products are made? Because I'm the tech guy in the office.
Yeah.
So I like all the behind, all the nooks and crannies and everything. Can you?
Well, everything starts with the design first, and then pick up the material that you're gonna put the design on. So my biggest challenge and my biggest job in the office is to educate my clients. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Help them out with the design, help them out with the logo, help them out to pick the right material. If you're gonna do just a one-time event, you don't have to spend a lot of money on buy a high-end shirt. But if you're gonna use it for yourself every day in the office, spend a little bit more money, because what you're gonna feel every day in your body, you have to feel comfortable about it. So it's a lot of education for them. And after we decide all that kind of part and put all those key together, it's going to pre-production. Pre-production, screen printing is pre-production all the way. It's 80% of the time is pre-production. It's how to get all the screens together, the art together, pick up the ink, pick all that. Printing the shirt is the fun part. You know what I mean? After everything is set up, is the faster process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our automatically machine can print up to 600 pieces an hour. So the print is fast. But to get to that momentum, you have to spend a lot of hours setting up the machine and make sure that everything is correctly. All the colors are perfect register, you know what I mean? So you don't have no bleeds, you don't have no colors over the other colors and things like that, you know?
Yeah. And it's wonderful. In the beginning, you started to talk about how you actually sit with the client and go through that. And not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do that at all. And that, you know, it's kudos to you, because you actually handhold your client and you go through that process and you let them know it's not just about getting the buck.
Believe it or not, that is my fun part in the office. I love to engage with the client. I like to make feel like they're gonna get more than just a product.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because there are, for me, branding is everything. You know, and for most of the people, they overlook that part of their company or their business. And branding, it is everything. And if you put your brand on a T-shirt, on a polo, on a hoodie, or on a jacket, it has to be right. So that's why I always spend a lot of time with them from the whole beginning of the process, not even know if they're gonna get a product from us. You know, I don't even ask if they're gonna, I never ask for an advance money or anything like that. I just want to make sure that they get educated enough for them to make the right decision. Because I cannot pull out a product if they don't make the right decision. You know what I mean? Or I would not feel like, proud of the product that we come out if the client make the wrong decision at the time, you know, because in the end, we have to do what the client requests, but if we don't spend time to educate them, they can make a very bad choice. And for us, it's kind of like it's hard, you know, because we feel such a much pride for what we do that we want every time to be top notch, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you speak, you can feel the passion that you have for this industry. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
I can tell that you definitely take pride in what you do.
Every single of my guys in the warehouse, they love it. They love what they do. You know what I mean? They get along together. They come in 7 a.m. They spend the whole day. For them, truthfully honest with you, I mean, the fun part of every project be different, even if we do the same every day, is the part that sometimes the week become days, the hours become minutes. You know, sometimes I feel like it's 3 o'clock already.
Right.
Like, I mean, I thought it was 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? And they feel the same way. Sometimes it's Friday and they're like, I thought it was Thursday. You know, because the time passed so fast that that is an indication that you have fun for what you're doing and you just don't realize what time it is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think you mentioned earlier when you were taking us out on a tour of your warehouse here, you mentioned that you're one of the only ones that have a specific equipment. A machine? What is that?
Well, I mean, I always have this mentality that tools is everything on anything that you're gonna do. You know, if you work in construction, if you have the right tools, you can do an efficient job, a better job. You know what I mean? And for me, technology is everything. You know what I mean? So you're right. We invest back in 2015. We invest almost $60,000 on a piece of equipment that is just like on a 2 square feet. You know what I mean? And a tons of money. But that piece of equipment changed the layout and the workflow of the entirely warehouse. And you're right. I mean, not many companies in the area invest that type of money. And I'm talking about companies that are probably 10 size bigger than us. They don't invest in that because they overlook the price tag and they don't always consider what is the benefit of that. The benefit that we got since we got the machine is we are more effective. We pull out better quality. We put out product fast out of the door, and we eliminate the pressure on my employees to work, the pressure of human mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And every industry has that. You know what I mean? And I think that I always love to protect my employees. You know what I mean? And I always love to create that environment of free hustle. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, sometimes we got days that super stressful and whatever, but that machine represents for us hassle free. You know what I mean? And the employees, and it creates a better environment for the employees. You know.
So it was definitely worthwhile.
Oh yes, it was. It was my best investment in the company ever.
Awesome. So I think that you're really a leading example of an entrepreneur, small business entrepreneur in this community. So what kinds of advice do you have for other people? Like what have you gone through that has really stood out to you that other people should keep in mind when they're starting their business?
I think, I mean, every time that I get that question, I always think that the best advice that I can give it to any person who wants to open a business or they already have a business is the most important part for me is to recognize that the employees are the keys for success. You know,
that's super
it's
important.
not the bank, it's not your brand, it's your employees, because your employees represent yourself on the product.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's very important. That's my biggest advice. I mean, I love to have people work with me that they love what they do, so they can represent the brand itself. If anybody asks them how you like to work over there, and they say, I love to work over there, well, that's the biggest representation of the brand. You know what I mean? Anybody can say, I love the product that they do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But that's, I mean, recognizing that you cannot move forward or be successful if you don't recognize your employee. I think that's the most important part that I learned, and I always consider myself in the past when I was working and manage other people too. You know what I mean? Recognized employees are the key formula for
That's great
success.
advice.
You know, and it's very tough. I mean, many industries and many business, they don't do that. You know what I mean? And they tend to renovate employees all the time. You know what I mean? Hire people, you know what I mean? And people left, people come, go. I got people that have been working with me for a couple of years already, 3 or 4 years, and people who left the company, actually they left because they move on to a different state or they find a better job. There is nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Better opportunity. I love to see them growing as a person. But people who actually still here, they still love it after 3 or 4 years they've been working with me.
Great. Are there any key partnerships? Do you have any partnerships throughout the community? Is that a big deal for you?
Yeah, I mean, since you mentioned it, I mean, one of the biggest part that this company represents us is that we work in partnership with many, I would say probably 20 businesses in and around the county that they sells the product, but they don't do it in-house. So I confident to say that probably 60 or 70% of the product you see in Anne Arundel County is coming actually from this warehouse.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And I can, I mean, big to small companies, the people going over there because they already have an established brand, you know, and they, you know what I mean? They hire them they hire them for the product, and we do the product for them. You know what I mean? And for us, it's always been our key part is to be on top of the time. I mean, if they want it by Monday, it has to be by Monday, and pull out the best quality ever, because if they can sell a good product, they're gonna get more sales, and we're gonna get more work too. You know what I mean? And it's been working since day one in 2014. We engaged with a couple of partners, and after that, it's been growing. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 partners in 14, then we got 10 more in 15, 10 more, and we are right now up to 20, 25 business in the area that hire us to do the job.
Awesome. Yeah, partnerships are definitely key in any industry.
It's big key. I mean, the great part about that is that we don't have to create that kind of like, you know what I mean, like a hustle. You know what I mean? It's no hassle for us. You know what I mean? And even between them are no hassle. I never came across with an account that it was from another client to a new client, or things like that. You know what I mean? And you know, I consider myself to have such a great level of work ethic that it being a couple occasions that I get clients contact me and say, hey, I wanted to do product with you, and I recognize that product has been sold from another partner, and I contact the other partner and say, hey, listen, I got your client knocking my door. How do you want me to handle this? And you know what I mean? So always integrity. You know what I mean? And work ethic. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we grow on that area on partnership, because they trust us. They will never
gonna
go over them on their clients. You know what I mean?
Now, I understand in the creative process, you got a lot going on and all that. Let's get to some of the fun stuff. Now, what's your favorite story from one of the products that you had to put out?
I think my favorite story was, I think it was in 2014 or 2015. We've been working very close with a gym called Level Up in Bowie. They had a couple of boxers. I think they were traveled to Europe to represent USA on a amateur boxing competition. And Jason, the owner, he's a good friend of mine, and he contacted me and said, "Hey, what about if we want to do some shirts so they can wear over there?" And I'm like, "Can you sponsor that?" I tell you something, I'll not only sponsor that, why don't you bring your whole team to the shop?
Wow.
We can
cool.
bring it together.
Yeah.
We can pack it together.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have like a fun day party,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? A full experience. And they can see in firsthand how the product's made and all that. And actually, he's very good on videos, and he recorded a little video doing the whole process. I think that was my most fun day because I was able to actually, it was the first time I was able to show the behind scene, how everything works, and they got so engaged on that. They realized that, oh wow, it's not just a t-shirt with a print on it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of technique, it takes a lot of everything, like any industry, you know what I mean? So I think that was my most fun day so far. Yeah. For sure.
Now, to every great story,
it's a bad story.
there's another story.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What was one of the worst experiences?
I think one of the worst experience was, and I was thinking about that a couple of days ago. So we got hired, I think last year or the year before, for a big event to do I think it was 500 shirts, 700 shirts. I don't remember the number. But they got tons of sponsors in the back. All right, there was a huge event in Annapolis. They got tons of sponsors in the back. And we did the production two weeks in advance, you know what I mean? Because we wanted to make sure that we never fall behind.
Right?
Everything is good. And they came 3 days before the event and say, okay, so this is the deal. One of the sponsor that you print in the back, they didn't want to pay us. And we wanted to knock it out of the shirt. And I'm like, that is impossible. It's already printed. How are you going to do that? Well, we think we can probably black it out with a rectangle, black ink in the back. And I'm like,
so not only do you have to
let me
rush.
try to understand this. So you're not gonna lose the money that the guy is gonna give it to you, and you're willing to pay on top of that to knock that guy out. How bad it is!
Yeah.
Wow.
Plus, your shirt is gonna look like crap because you have such a nice layout of sponsors and everything, and in the middle a rectangle.
That's so
what
disappointing.
that means, you know what I mean? But anyway, like we say, you know what I mean. Sometimes you just need to pick your battles. And we were like, okay, we do it, and it took forever to do it because we had to use laser to perfectly register the shirt in the palette and make sure that the rectangle fall right on top. It was a nightmare. And I think those 500 shirts, 700 shirts become a whole day production when we normally do that in hour and a half. You know what I mean? Just because it took a whole day. And I think that was the day that I see my guys the saddest ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody could understand why they would do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not make any sense. So that was a sad production day.
Is this one of your products? Are you wearing
no, this is just a fun shirt.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That I use all the time. Every time I try to do something different.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if a company out there wants to get some printed products or wants to use you guys, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can go to our website, www.inkgeneration.com. They can contact me, eze@inkgeneration.com, or they can call me 443-254-8655.
Awesome.
Great.
Or they can stop by here in Glen Burnie. More than welcome.
Yeah, it's a really cool place there.
Yep.
All right, so this has been a really great episode, another great episode of my ArundelBiz Podcast. You can tune in on any of our social media channels. So that is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We have it up on our YouTube, as well as all over the audio podcast world. We're trying to push our audio podcast this year, so you can watch it as well as listen to it. And that you can also find on ArundelBiz.org. So check us out. Check out all your local entrepreneurs and small businesses, as well as large corporations that are out there. We have pretty much everyone in Anne Arundel County, and we love our county. Yeah. And so this has been a great day. Thank you, Ezequiel.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.